Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a brand new episode of Schmoedown All Access. I, of course, am your host, C-Dub Christopher Woodburn. I got my regulars here today. He'll join us in a little bit. My co-host, running the ones and twos, he is the villain, Haven Pendergast. Next up, we got the King of Hearts, runs the IG League here in Jack of All Trivia. He is James Schmoedown.
What's up, everybody?
And last but certainly not least, one of my favorite people, he is Caleb Boatman.
Hey, I'm really happy to be here. This is actually my 5th episode, so that's a cool milestone. Yeah, we got a great week with 2 fantastic matches, so I'm excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Now, I would like to mention at the top of this, Christian Harloff, we know him, we love him. He had a passing in his family earlier this week. His brother Kevin Harloff. Now they got a GoFundMe page to help out with the services for the funeral. So if you can head on over to there, if you can help out in any way, I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. And Christian, we hope you and your entire family are recovering well, and we wish you all nothing but the best. And we're deeply sorry for your loss.
Absolutely.
Either you guys have anything you want to add to that?
I mean, you pretty much said it all. Christian, I think we can all agree he's a tough guy. I'm sure he'll bounce back. How quickly that'll be. I mean, with this and then Schnepp before that, I'm sure it's hit him like a pretty big 1-2 punch. But we're pulling for you, Christian. We know it's tough, but hang in there. Schmoeville's behind you.
Caleb?
Yeah, just kind of echo what you two have been saying. Yeah, we're pulling for you. Christian, I mean, that's tough. Schnepp and now that's horrible. But, if anybody can do it, Christian can. Christian, he can pull through it. I'm not, saying that he has to pull through it right away. I mean, he needs to give himself some time to grieve and all that. But, he can do it. I believe that he can.
Right.
Well said, gentlemen. All right, so our first match of the week, we had, I'm calling this the greatest Schmoedown match in history, not just this year. We had the Crusher Rachel Cushing taking on the amazing Brown Dwarf star Mara Kanopik. Now, the first thing I'll say about this is it was evident during this match that neither of these fine women were at 100%. They were both feeling ill in one way or another. And the fact that they were they were willing to still go through with this match is a testament to how strong they are. I mean, because they could have easily asked to reschedule this thing, but they didn't choose that, and they went through with the match. I commend both of you ladies for your will.
Amen.
Yeah. So yeah, in this first round, Rachel, she got out to a strong start. She got her first 5 correct. She missed her on her first question on question 6. Mara had a not as strong start as I'm sure she would have liked, but Rachel after the first round was up 8-5. Caleb, I'll go to you first. Who are you picking in this match, and your thoughts on that first round?
Yeah, as far as who I was picking in this match, it was tough because I knew that these are 2 players that I knew this was going to be a good match. I didn't expect it would be this good, but I knew this was going to be a good match with those 2 players. I gave the edge to Rachel because I thought that this was going to be her year, and it almost was. I thought she was going to make it all the way to the end and potentially become the new champion. That's obviously not going to happen, but I thought she definitely, out of everybody, had the best chance of dethroning Jason Inman. But, Mara is a fantastic player on her own right, and I was not incredibly surprised by the upset because of how great she is. Yeah, as far as thoughts on that first round, yeah, Cushing, she played very well. Mara did solid first round. They both, about what I expected from both of them. A good, solid first round.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, going into this, I had also given Rachel kind of the kind of given her the advantage in this due to experience, and plus she's been on a tear recently. But again, you add in the factor of obviously not being at 100%, which if you didn't know, if they hadn't let on by their body language and some of the comments they were making, you couldn't have even told that they were having an off day with the way that they were performing in this match. Like, they were playing this like any healthy person would play an Inner Geekdom match. So kudos to them. Very well done. But yeah, it's, a couple of those questions, like, obviously they threw me. I had guessed David Ayer instead of David Goyer with that one question. So, but yeah, overall, like, great match, great beginning for the first round and everything. And as far as calling it an upset, Caleb, I wouldn't call this an upset. An upset to me would be.
Did I say upset?
You did. I was I would call an upset Cody
Right.
Hall beating Dan Murrell, but I mean that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, if I said it was an upset, I didn't mean to. Sorry, I misspoke there.
Yeah, but no, this was definitely a very strong match from both competitors, and it all just came down to who blinked first. And sadly, it happened to be Rachel, which even then you can't call it sadly because Mara's fantastic. So either way, we all won in that case.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of the highlights from this first round, like you said, on question 4, I did know it was who co-wrote the screenplay with Christopher Nolan on Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. The answer was David Goyer. Mara, she gave a decent answer, Jonathan Nolan. Can't fault her for that because he did help write. He helped write The Dark Knight Rises with him, and plus he's his brother.
And he does a lot of Christopher Nolan's movies, co-writing that. So I think that was a very fair guess. I think.
Absolutely. But the funny part to me was question 9 was when Mara guessed Al Pacino on
that was
I think
a fun one.
Yeah.
It was who played Red Sonja in Red Sonja.
Yeah, Red Sonja. Yeah, that was pretty funny to me.
I also liked the little comment she had when the question on Justice League and who's at the opening, and she's like, Superman and his stupid little baby mouth or whatever.
That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Mara's fun. She's got some good one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Rachel was up 8-5 after that first round, and she elected to go first. She first spun mixed bag, then decided to spin again, and she got heroes and villains. And I mean, she started out strong, but she didn't finish as well as I'm sure she would have liked. She got 3 out of 5 for 6 points. Mara was able to capitalize on one of 2 steals for 1 point. Question 4, for Rachel was who played the villain Max in The Losers. She guessed Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Mara guessed Idris Elba. With the answer was Jason Patrick. I did know that on multiple choice. I'll never forget him from Terminator. Jenny Smith. And then question 5. What was Steve Rogers' first line to Peggy when he comes out of the chamber? And I was a little surprised Rachel didn't get that on multiple choice. The answer was taller. Mara was able to get that steal. And then Mara, on her turn, she spins mixed bag, doesn't want it, and she ends up with Marvel, and she does pretty well, getting 4 out of 5 for 6 points. Rachel wasn't able to capitalize on a steal, which I gotta say that first question for Mara was, I had no idea what was the country that Sue Storm was originally from in 2015's Fantastic Four. I had no idea. I would have just guessed Poland. But yeah, Rachel, she was still up at that point, 14-12. James, what were your thoughts on that second round?
Yeah, like I said, strong second round by both competitors. As far as that question about Kosovo and where Sue Storm was from. I never would have freaking known that. Fantastic Four, or at least that one in particular, is 2 hours of my life I desperately wish I could get back. God, what a waste that was. But overall, yeah, strong showing by both ladies. Had to go to multiple choice a couple times, but given their condition going in, I couldn't blame them because when you being sick is a hell of a distraction. Let me just say that. In any given circumstance, whether it's competing in the Schmoedown or whether it's day-to-day life. Like there are days I go to work and I've got a migraine headache and it makes me miserable for the rest of the day and I can't even focus. So I would say if you'd have to think if they weren't feeling under the weather, they might have not had to go to those. But either way, we got a competitive match, so nobody's complaining. And I know neither of those two will use that as an excuse. But overall, like I said, very, very solid round by both of them. Like I said, I think if there were only like a few of those questions I had a difficult time answering, but I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
Well, I'll point one out for you, which was a question for Mara. It was a question that you wrote for a match recently with me and Malcolm.
Oh yeah, about Rosemary Harris
in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films.
Yep, I easily got that one because granted, researching Inner Geekdom for the IG League here at Jack of All Trivia does have its advantages sometimes.
Yeah. Caleb?
That was a good second round. I think Heroes and Villains is basically just Mixed Bag Part 2, so that's kind of a very tough category because it can be from any of the universes there. It's just specifically have to be about characters that are heroes or villains, which there are a lot of those in these Inner Geekdom categories. So, that's a very tough. It's basically just mixed bag again. But yeah, that Fan Four Stick question would have stumped anybody who doesn't like Fan Four Stick or anybody who isn't brain damaged, as I say. I mean, I'm just joking. But Fan Four Stick, no. But that was a good second round from both players. Very tough questions, good questions. Yeah, just as you'll hear me say all throughout this match, it was just a good match all around.
Yeah, I think I gotta say though, you said that Heroes and Villains is Mixed Bag Part 2. I don't think that's the case if you're comparing Mixed Bag to James Schmoedown Mixed Bag question.
I knew that was coming at some point because especially with both of them spinning Mixed Bag, it's to me I try to go for the more obscure and the more less focused on like my Mixed Bag wouldn't necessarily have stuff from like MCU or anything else like that. It would be the far outliers, but that's just the way I interpret it, and obviously the way the Collider does is different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw an opportunity to poke fun at your Mixed Bag.
Oh, trust me. I mean, honestly, hey, as long as it's my mixed bag and not my ball bag, you can make fun of it all you want. Anyhow.
Yeah. All right, so Rachel, she was still up 14-12. She gave her numbers 7, 8, 9. Mara gave hers 11, 13, and 15. For Mara's 2-pointer was the category of DCEU. How does Superman kill Zod in Man of Steel? She got that correct, snapping his neck. So we take it over to Rachel for her 2-pointer. Weapons, technology, vehicles, and magical objects. Question was, in episode 1, what does Anakin initially call a lightsaber? She guessed a laser sword. So we bounce it back on to Mara for her 3-pointer. Category is Lord of the Rings. What are the giant elephant-like creatures called in the Two Towers in Return of the King? She got the answer correct. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. It was Oliphant, something like that.
Oliphants.
James. Oliphant. Thank you.
Yes.
So then, taking on to Mara's 5-pointer, MCU. Josh Dallas played what character in the first Thor film? She got that correct. It was Fandral. So we take it over to Rachel for her 3-pointer in the category of a Hobbit. What is the name of the eccentric wizard that lives in Mirkwood and aids Gandalf numerous times throughout the Hobbit trilogy? She got it right. Radagast the Brown.
Radagast.
Radagast, thank you. I'm not great with them Lord of the Ring names. All right. So yeah, Rachel's 5-pointer. Now, I'll read the question first. It was a category of who said it. Who said none of you seem to understand? I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Now, I've seen many people talking about this question in the Schmoedown page. Some people thinking it was a super easy 5-pointer. Now, I will say this. I knew this answer. I knew that the answer was Rorschach, but I've seen Watchmen several times. But that may not be the case for Rachel, and let's not forget she was feeling sick. So people have been kind of giving her crap over not knowing that answer. I think that's a bit unfair, because it's not like Watchmen is like the most popular movie out there. It was a very divisive film. And Rachel, she guessed Ultron, which, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible guess. But, yeah, it wasn't the correct one. So, try not to give Rachel too much shit over not knowing Rorschach. So, Caleb, I'll go to you. What were your thoughts on that third round, and how did you feel about that Rachel's 5-point question?
Yeah, so yeah, that third round, again, both players just doing exceptional. But yeah, that third round question, I mean, I knew it. I'll admit, I've never actually seen Watchmen. I just have never gotten around to that one. But I knew that quote because I hear that quote a lot. That's really the only quote I know from Watchmen. So I knew that one. But in Rachel's defense, it's hard to remember quotes when you're sick, because I think that's the hardest to remember when you're sick, because that's the one that most relies on kind of having to search for, kind of, oh, was it this movie? Was it this movie? Was it this movie? Because that kind of sounded like it could have been from a lot of things. So I think, that's hard. And let's not forget, there were lots of things questions that Rachel has gotten right that most people would not know. There's a question in Sudden Death there that's like a Lord of the Rings question that both of them got right. I had no idea. It was like Rosalind was the answer or something. But, yeah, I don't remember the name of the answer. But, yeah, the Rachel Cushing, is a monster, and she just got one that we would consider easy, but there are some questions first that she would consider very easy that none of us would know, So it's just different strengths.
Yeah, and there's a question you're referring to in Sudden Death in Ladris, in both the Lord of the Rings Hobbit trilogies, the elf Elrond lives in Ladris, which also goes by what other name? Rivendell? Is that the question you were talking about?
Yes, that is the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that either.
Yeah, I would, but that's just me. But yeah, like Caleb was saying, like everybody's got varying degrees of strengths. Some people are good with quotes, some people aren't. Some people are better with movie release dates, some people aren't. So to give a competitor of Rachel's caliber that kind of shit for simply blanking on a name seems like a really, like a big, just kind of middle finger dick kind of move to me. But overall, like, yeah, they both did very well. Mara, obviously she got a couple of questions that were a little bit more difficult, at least with regards to, I believe it was a 3-pointer, which she missed or whatever. But
yeah,
obviously,
3-point.
Yeah, but everybody's got their strengths, everybody's got their super strengths, and everybody's got their blind spots. So, yeah, I was I won't say I was surprised to see it go down to Sudden Death, but it was definitely unexpected. I thought one of them would have, gotten the definitive win here, but I'm not complaining about it. I love seeing matches go to Sudden Death, especially if they're, this quality. I think this is the deepest into Sudden Death any Schmoedown match has ever gone.
Oh, yeah, without question.
Because there were, 11 questions deep by the end of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 11 questions.
Right. So, yeah, overall, like I said, great round. Took us into an awesome Sudden Death where, obviously, the people watching were tired. The people at the table were tired. They're like, we just want to go home, but we can't. We still want to play, so damn it, we'll keep going. But it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, and I don't think you answered, but did you know the Rorschach quote?
Oh, yeah, of course I did. I mean, I've seen... granted, I haven't seen it a ton, I haven't like studied it or anything like that, but I've seen Watchmen at least a good 3 or 4 times, and yeah, like that. Obviously, that's one of the better known quotes from that, other than Rorschach's journal or "Tonight a Comedian Died," or they looked to the sky and begged us to help, and we looked down and whispered no, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that was another
paraphrasing that last one.
quote.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, like the Rorschach question. I like I said, I think there were only like a handful of those round 3 questions I had no clue on.
Yeah, for me personally, I mean, Mara's 2-point, I think 95% of people would get that. He snapped Zod's neck. Laser sword, that was pretty easy. I mean, I didn't know the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit questions. Those are ones that I had no idea about. I knew Josh Dallas played Fandral, and I knew Rorschach.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we'll go into the sudden death. It was all tied up at 19 apiece, and they both came out strong. They got their first 2 correct, but then they both missed their next 3 questions, obviously, because it kept going. I mean, a couple of the standouts questions for me, like, it felt good knowing, like, in question 3 in 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what was the name of whose name was on the bat that Casey Jones used in his fight with Raphael? And it was Jose Canseco. Rachel guessed Nolan Ryan, which was pretty funny considering he was a pitcher. And then it felt good knowing that Bruce Campbell, he played Coach Boomer, aka Sonic Boom, in Sky High. Mara guessed Kurt Russell, who was in the film, just not that character, and Rachel guessed Jeff Bridges. And then Rachel, on question 5, she came very close to ending it there. It was, what was the name of the futuristic city in Big Hero 6? Rachel guessed San Fran, Tokyo, when it was San Fran, Sokio. She came pretty close there. But the question, and that question 8, I got this wrong. Was what is the only Star Wars film where the camera pans up instead of down? And they both guessed Rogue One, which is funny because Rogue One didn't actually have a crawl. Yeah. But the answer was Attack of the Clones. I actually, for some reason, thought it was Last Jedi. But the question that where Mara gets the victory, it was who said there's only one God, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. Mara guessed Steve Rogers. Rachel guessed Superman. Mara, she comes out with the victory, and yeah, I mean, like I said, both of these women were sick. They played through the pain, and me and Haven, we interviewed Mara a couple weeks ago. I had said to her that I knew that this was going to be a great match. I had no idea this was going to top Schmoedown matches, for me anyway. I think this is the greatest Schmoedown match in history. Haven, since you're here with us now, what were your thoughts on the entire match?
My first initial thought was I felt so bad. I wanted to jump through the screen and bring them both like chicken noodle soup. Because you could tell both ladies were just so under the weather, man. I think if Rachel wasn't sick, I mean, at the very end, the last question, she was holding her stomach. She was, she just looked like maybe she had to throw up. I don't know, what was the case. I don't want to speculate, but she seemed like she was ready to get some medicine or get some fluids in her, and maybe she knew the answer, but she was so foggy from just being sick. They both were, but they played a hell of a match, man. I mean, under extreme conditions of them both just being under the weather. I thought it was a great back and forth. Some of those sudden death questions I didn't know. I mean, I knew the last one. It took me a couple seconds. I was like, oh, Captain America, and I thought they were going to keep going, but and I don't ever want to say that Rachel gave up. She didn't. She was just ready to be done. She just looked like she needed some fluids or medicine or something. And it was a hell of a match, man, to watch. Even Christian seemed a little under the weather too. Usually he has more energy, and he seemed kind of like he was under the weather also. So maybe something hit all the people there, But it was a hell of a match, It was a great match to watch.
Absolutely. Where do you is it rank up there as top Schmoedown matches in history?
Well, sorry, I don't know. I mean, it was a good match. I think if they were both on, if they both weren't sick, maybe. But it was kind of a tough watch, just seeing them both just struggling. It was, I mean, it was a great battle. I wouldn't say it was the greatest match because it's in a separate category, IG, which doesn't have the pantheon of films like movie or tag team. But I'll say, for IG match, yeah, I gotta say it's the best IG match I've ever seen. So I would put it in the top 10, but it wouldn't be in my top 5 of all time.
Okay.
We had great tag team matches before. When Dan Murrow played John Roca, I think that was a great match. So there's been a lot of great matches up there, but I would definitely put it in my top 10. Especially my number 1 IG match of all time.
Okay. I can definitely respect that. James?
Yeah, I mean, overall, like you said, it came down to the wire. This, to me, was equivalent to if we had ever seen, well, actually, we kind of did see it, between Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, just throwing haymakers, just trying to get one of them to drop, and neither one of them's given an inch. And even then, I mean, they were worn out, they were tired, they, obviously weren't feeling good. And can you imagine how long this match would have gone if they were both at the top of their game? They could have gone 20, 30 questions in a sudden death if they'd both been healthy. But, I mean, overall, like I said, neither woman had anything to be ashamed of in their performance because there are men in that league who I know wouldn't have performed nearly as well, whether they were healthy or not. And those two women brought it. And that's across all leagues. So kudos to them. Well done. But yeah, Mara obviously earned the win. I got a bad feeling they recorded this one like right after Comic-Con because it seems like the Comic-Con crud was going through like the whole group of people.
Yeah.
Like Christian like Haven said, Christian might have been under the weather. Obviously, Mara and Rachel weren't feeling great. Who knows if Emma was even at 100%. So, like I said, there could have been any number of things going on there. But like I said, overall, Rachel can hold her head high knowing she gave a hell of a fight, even in her condition. Mara obviously moves on now to the finals to face someone we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, overall, great Intergeekdom match. Can't wait to see who comes out of the finals to face Inman at the live event.
And where does this match rank for you? Not only IG, but in Schmoedown in general.
Well, like Haven said, this is objectively the best Intergeekdom match that's been played ever. Because like we said, no other match in the Schmoedown period has gone this far in sudden death. But overall, I don't even think we've had an Intergeekdom match that was this, tense like throughout. Because you're like, okay, when is this finally gonna end? Who's gonna win? These two are like two of the biggest names in the Intergeekdom division right now. But yeah, overall, I'd have to put it at least if I had to rank it in the top 10, I would probably put it. Probably say at least 5 or 6 somewhere because I can think of a few I've enjoyed a little bit more. I think not necessarily enjoyed, but I definitely like the first Iron Man match between Ken and Sam Witwer just a little bit better than this, just because of the introduction of a new format. Like that was the first one of its kind, so that kind of gets it a few bonus points. Like Haven said, Roka versus Merle. The first team title. I think a couple of the team title matches would probably rank a little bit higher than this for me. That first one between Top 10 and the Patriots, obviously, and then
Bibiani versus Andreyko?
Yeah, Bibiani versus Andreyko would probably be somewhere in there. The first free-for-all would definitely be in there somewhere. So, but yeah, overall, it's definitely top 10.
I'd like to mention another match I don't think enough people talk about. At the first Spectacular, Dan Murrow versus Mark Ellis.
Yeah, that was a very good match as well. You're absolutely right.
All right. Okay, were you done there, James? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm good.
All right, Caleb?
Yeah, that was a really exhausting sudden death. That was That was crazy. One little thing about that Sky High question. One, I just want to say I really like the movie Sky High. That's
Me too.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to show my age here too much, but that was one of my favorite movies as a kid. It was on the Disney Channel a lot, so I watched that movie a lot, and I love that movie a lot. And it still holds up, which is great. But one thing, I'm not sure it should qualify for Inner Geekdom because it's not based on a comic book.
Well, I mean, it's
Like-
a superhero movie.
It
Yeah,
is,
the theme
but
is
then-
superheroes. Yeah, but I mean,
Would
you're right.
you
There's
give
an argument
The
to be made.
Incredibles?
Even
Would
though
you-
it's not based on a pre-existing property, I would definitely include The Incredibles.
Okay. Well, then I think that's. Would you include like Megamind then?
Yeah, I'm gonna say to an extent, because it being that it is superhero themed, like there's a bunch of different things like that could be termed geeky, in my opinion, in my interpretation of Inner Geekdom. Because to me, because there's a dedicated fan base who we know has followed them and is obsessed with them, you could throw Monty Python into freaking Inner Geekdom, in my opinion.
All right.
So, like I said, it comes down to one person's interpretation over another, and I guess in this case it's Christian, since he's the one kind of running things and coordinating all this. So, like I said, for me it counts, but for you it might not. And that's
and
okay.
I'm not really sure. I just thought it was odd that it's not based on a comic book and it made it in. But I'll take any Sky High questions that they throw at them because I love that movie a lot. But yeah, the match itself was a great match. As far as where it ranks, I think it is the greatest Inner Geekdom match of all time. But as far as matches of of all leagues, I'm not even sure I'd put it as match of the year so far. Even I really like the match a lot, but I think Shire Wolves versus Team Action, Merle versus Guy, maybe not Merle versus Guy, but Shire Wolves Team Action, Mance versus Bateman, Harris versus Irwin. I'm not sure I'd put those over, but I think those are all contenders. We'll kind of see at the end of the year what I think deserves match of the year, but
Yeah, I think I'll say this. About Sky High. If they're going to include Back to the Future, you got to include Sky High.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, well, yeah. I mean, I think that about covers that match. And we move on. We got the man Haven Pendergast loves to hate. The killer Mike Kalinowski taking on Adam Hlavik. Now, coming into this match, I mean, some people have said that Mike took the easy path. He was trying to avoid Rachel. I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't believe so. I think he wanted to face Mara, but we'll get more of that later. But Mike, I mean, he came out swinging. He got his first 10 questions correct. He got his bonus question, who played Tank Girl. Adam, on the other hand, he struggled big time. He missed his first 6 questions. He only got 3 right in the first round. A couple of them questions, I gotta say, I was really surprised that he didn't know that question 1, Harley Quinn got an espresso machine. I couldn't believe he guessed Rick Flag on that. And then question 6, not knowing Karen was the voice of the woman who Spider-Man spoke to in Spider-Man Homecoming. He guessed Vanessa. I mean, Adam, he struggled big time. He was down 11-3. Caleb, I'll go to you first. Thoughts going into this match and the first round?
Yeah, as far as going into this match, I thought this was going to be another one that was just, 2 giants and it was going to go very far. Because I think Hlavik was somebody that a lot of people were kind of sleeping on a little bit, and they were underestimating him. Because I think in that match, the last couple matches he's played, he's done very well. Even in his first match, that 5-way, he did very well. He just couldn't quite catch up to Donica. So I think, Hlavik's a great player. But yeah, I expected him to do much better in that first round. But yeah, I will say I did think Kalinowski was going to win. But yeah, I thought Lavick would do much better in that first round. But I'll admit, I also struggled a lot more than I usually do in that first round. I also only got 3 out of 10, so I struggled a lot. But sometimes you just get questions that you just can't quite grab onto that answer, and it's tough. But wow, Kalinowski. Wow, he is on a roll right now, and I hate to say it, but I think there's a good chance he's going to make it all the way to Inman. I love Mark Knopik, but I think he's going to make it all the way to Inman.
We shall see. Haven?
Yeah, I was rooting for the other guy. Mike, me and him have this eternal battle going on. The villain versus the corruption. Man, the first round was a shocker. It's hard to come back when you're down that many points, man, for anybody. I know we're going to talk about the next rounds after that, but it was pretty much night and day, man. Mike, again, a perfect round. Again, a bonus question. I think this is the first time that's happened in IG matches. Somebody got a perfect round in that? No, maybe not.
Rachel's done
for Mike.
Yeah, from Mike, yeah. But man, I mean, he played a hell of a game. Havlik, you could just tell, man, he knew some of the answers, and he just wasn't getting them. And I think maybe that got into his head, after missing, the first 6 questions. Just missing that many first round questions, and then seeing Mike not missing anything. I think maybe that just got in his head, and he had to scramble to try to get some points on the board, which he did. He ended up with 3 points, but even the way the match turned out, which we will talk about later, I just thought Mike already had it in the bag. I was like, damn, this is a wrap.
Yeah. James?
I gotta say, this was tough to watch, but not nearly. And this is what I found almost ironic in this situation is, let's wind the clock back a little bit to Adam's last match, him and Keaton. Keaton started off in a very bad position, and he was ahead. Now, fast forward to this, it's on the opposite end, the shoe's on the other foot. So that probably had something to play into Adam's mindset as well. It's like, damn, I'm doing about as bad as Keaton did against me. And like I said, this wasn't nearly as tough to watch because, it's no secret, Keaton's a little bit more attractive than an Adam is. But anyhow, that's besides the point. But yeah, when you go into a round 2 with an 11-3 deficit, like that big of a deficit, it's a chore. Like, you have to hope your opponent has the worst of luck with that wheel, and you are able to capitalize on every steal opportunity to even have a prayer at winning that match, let alone coming back, which Adam managed to at least attempt in a big way, and he made a go of it. But yeah, when you're down by that much, like that's a distance in a short amount of time. I don't even think Barry Allen could cover that much distance in that short amount of time.
Yeah,
Fuck
go
you,
ahead, Haven.
He just called me a nerd. That's all.
Yeah, you said it well. Adam was down by 8 points. He could have easily packed it in at that point, but he didn't. Mike deferred to him. He spun Star Trek, didn't keep it, got DCEU, and he did pretty well with that. He got all 5 answers right for 8 points. Mike had good luck on his side. He first spins Harry Potter, doesn't keep it, and he knew people were going to talk shit, but he got spinner's choice. He went with MCU. He did decent, 4 out of 5 for 7 points. Adam wasn't able to capitalize on his steal. So Adam, he trimmed the lead a little bit from 8 points to 7 points down, 18-11. We'll cover second and third round together here. So Mike, he was up 18-11. He gives his numbers 2, 7, and 14. Adam goes with 3, 6, and 9. And this is where Adam, he shined big time. I mean, questions, his 2-pointer category Marvel, pretty easy. Who played Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3? Bryce Dallas Howard. I think most people would get that. His 3-pointer was really tough. I knew I wouldn't have got it. Category scores and soundtracks in Watchmen. What Jimi Hendrix song plays while Night Owl and Rorschach fly to Antarctica? Answer was All Along the Watchtower. And I gotta say this, his 5-pointer was actually, for a 5-pointer, it was very easy. Even, I think, a lot more easy than, say, Rachel's 5-point question. But what, in the mid-credit scene for Justice League, what does Flash have to do if he loses the race with Superman? He got that Buy Everybody brunch. Like I said, I think that was an extremely easy 5-pointer that most people would get. James, I'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on that, on the second and third round and that 5-point question?
Yeah, as far as second and third round goes, like I said before, Adam fought his hardest to make a comeback. Didn't throw in the towel the way we saw Snyder do a couple of matches back. But yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, when you're at that big of a deficit, it's hard to catch up, let alone surpass your opponent. And even then, he just managed to barely surpass Mike to the point where, in the end, Mike had to answer, I believe, 2 of his questions in the end to get to the victory. But yeah, as far as that 5-pointer goes, I don't know. It depends on how many people not only saw Justice League, but liked it enough to stay for the mid-credits, or to even understand that there would be a mid-credits there. Because, again, granted, a lot of movies do that nowadays thanks to the MCU and everything, but not everyone does. And they, again, some people might not have gone to see Justice League, who had gone to see Justice League might not have stayed for that, or for both of them, to be honest. So it all just boils down to, did Adam see that, and did he, stick around long enough to actually, or did he enjoy himself long enough to say, okay, if there's a mid-credit scene, I'm going to stick around and watch, or, oh, I didn't really enjoy this, I'm going to bounce and I'm not going to care about it. Now, granted, he's part of or he used to be part of superhero news. Now he does his own thing at Hyper RPG, and they do stories about this kind of stuff. So he may have known going in that there was a post-credit scene and decided to stay anyway to talk about it, but I'm getting off topic. The point is, as far as the quality of the question goes, again, it would depend on whether somebody gave a shit about Justice League enough to actually stick around past the final scene into the credits to actually see that. So I can see how some people might not have gotten in, where it could be considered maybe a 3-pointer, if not a 5-pointer. But again, it's up to the interpretation of whoever's got it and what Skaliski, the question writer, decided to put down for as far as point value.
Yeah, let me, and I kind of did skip over that. Adam, he got all 3 of his questions, so it bounced back to Mike. 2-pointer was in category Star Wars. What planet is the site of Mace Windu's final battle? Which he knew that was Coruscant when he faced off against the Emperor. And then his 3-pointer that got him the victory. And I'll say, I think this was a very easy 3-point question as well. I would put it more of a 2-point question, but that's just me. What is the seemingly indestructible automaton called that is sent to kill Thor in the first Thor film? He got that, the Destroyer. Yeah, and I will say, like you were saying, James, Adam, he's in this community. He sees these movies. They're staying through mid-credit scene. So that's why I say, for somebody like him, who is well ingrained in this stuff, that's why I think it's a very easy 5-pointer.
Right. My only point was, as far as like who was writing the questions and assigning the point value, Skaliski might not have thought it was that easy, because he's not ingrained in it to where, like I said, it just comes down to that, the question writer's personal bias, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Caleb?
Yeah, that Slavic in that second and third round, man, that, James brought up the Rocky analogy earlier. I think this is Rocky 1, kind of a little bit, where Slavic just kept taking punches, and even though, he didn't win, he was able to make it all the way, to the third round, which I think a lot of us didn't think he was going to be able to do. I think a lot of us thought Kalinowski was going to get a third KO or TKO in a row, and Lavick was able to stay in there and, you know, keep winning, or not keep winning, but keep playing and make it all the way to that third round. And I think that was impressive. I think Lavick did very well. As far as the, you know, those questions go being easy, I didn't remember the brunch question, and I was one of the few people that actually liked Justice League. Upon re-examining it, none of it really stuck with me, but I, you know, came out being mildly pleasantly enjoying it. But I'll admit none of it really stuck with me that much. But yeah, yeah, and then I didn't remember the Destroyer question, the Thor one, because I'm not a big fan of that first Thor, so I only seen about once or twice. But, you know, maybe 2-pointer would have been better, but I think 3 wasn't that bad for the Destroyer question. Maybe the brunch question could have been 3, not 5, but, you know, I think it's up to what Split Success. But, I mean, I think this was a really good match, and I think Kalinowski, man, he's on fire right now, and I think, I don't know, I think he can take it. I think he can go all the way.
Yeah. Haven?
Yeah, I thought I was really impressed with Havlik. That's how you pronounce his name, right? His last name, Havlik.
Yeah.
Alex. I'll just call him Alex and make it easier.
Adam.
You know, Adam. Thanks. What the hell I'm thinking of? Thank you, Adam. He played a hell of a second round, man. Got back in the fight, but then you know, Mike was able to get, you know, he got spinner's choice. He picked MCU. He rocked it, so he was back up by 8 points. So it was always a catch up. You know, he was always playing catch up. Adam was, and you know, he was really impressive in the third round. He got all 3 of his questions right. He was up by 3 points, but you knew Mike was going to get at least some of those, unless Mike just shit the bed and missed all 3 of them. I didn't see Adam winning that match, and the questions, some of them might have been misplaced number-wise, but it happens. You know, from personal experiences, it happens here. You know, when I write questions and, you know, I give a guy a 5-pointer and they're like, oh, shit, that's super hard. And I give somebody else a 5-pointer and they're like, oh, man, that was a 1-pointer. It's just, you know, how it rolls the dice. The brunch one, could have been a 3-pointer. I mean, a 5-pointer was fine because, to be honest, I only seen Justice League once and I've never watched it again. I've never bought it on Blu-ray or DVD. Every time I look at it, I'm always like, nah, it's still too much. Still costs too much money to own that one, so I pass on it. The Destroyer one, it's just like, to me, that I thought it was a 1-pointer because I just love the Thor movie and I'm in, you know, I read the comics, so it all comes down to what people know, you know. And since, like Caleb said, he wouldn't have known it because he only watched the movie once. It just depends on what people know and what movies they love and what movies excite them, and it's always a gamble. You know, so I thought they were okay questions. I believe the Watchmen one should have been the 5-pointer, the song, but I mean, he got that like really quickly. So that Adam impressed me with that. And Mike, that's Dirty Rotten Scoundrel is in the finals now. He's gonna play against Mara now. That's that mother.
You know, I do want to say one thing about that Watchmen All Along the Watchtower question. I didn't think that was that hard because I haven't seen the movie, and I just guessed that because I think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's Jimi Hendrix's best known song is All Along the Watchtower. No. You know, maybe you could make the argument for Purple Haze, but I don't know. I think All Along the Watchtower, and it shows up in a ton of movies.
Voodoo Child for me.
What?
Voodoo Child.
Yeah, but most popular, not best, is what I'm saying. You know, I think All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, it's just all preference. I just love Voodoo Child, you know.
No, I think Hey Joe is his best song, but yeah, I'm just saying that All Along the Watchtower is his most famous, probably. I mean, it shows up in tons of movies. Forrest Gump, for one. Lots of Vietnam movies, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think for me personally, like, I'm not great with song titles, especially in these comic book movies. Like, I love the soundtrack for Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if I could tell you one title to actually of the songs. Like, I'm just not great with the song titles.
Not even Hooked on a Feeling?
Hooked on a Feeling. I do remember that one. I'm better. I'm better with the composers of the films as opposed to the song titles. I'm just
That's
not
fair.
good at stuff. And I'm like I said, I'm a fan of Watchmen. I actually quite enjoy that movie, and I had no idea. I know the song that they were talking about, but I'm like, I don't know the title.
Yeah, that's fair.
Same here. I didn't know it. I drew a blank.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, Mikey gets the victory, 23-21. He's moving on to the finals. He's facing Mara, which we'll talk about that match first. We're getting it next Friday, or this coming Friday. Now, I'm a big fan of this whole corruption thing. Mike's been killing it. I want Mara to win this so very badly. Will she do it? I don't know. I'm hoping she can pull it out. James, who are you going for in that match?
Okay. Man, this is a tough call because both of these competitors are very strong in inner geekdom. Whether now they obviously got to have different levels of strength in different categories, but they are both very, very solid IG competitors. I can see this match going either way. My heart says Mara just because I want to really see what she can do in a championship match, especially with the added wrinkle that this is going to be a 5-round match. Like Christian said that, like the number one contenders match between Mara and Mike, thank you, is going to be a 5-round match.
Oh, really?
At least I believe.
I didn't know that.
I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that at the end of the video.
I don't think so, because I remember not long ago, Christian has said that he don't believe number one contenders match should be 5 rounds because that's reserved for championships. So I'm pretty sure that's not true.
I was like, because I could have sworn I heard that, and I don't remember whether he said that about that match or whether it was going to be for Bibiani or not Bibiani for Andreyko versus Ethan Irwin. But I'm pretty sure he said one of the two. But I can fact check that a little bit later after this.
I mean, I've watched that match 3 times now. I don't remember hearing that once.
Yeah, I don't either.
Maybe I imagined it, but like I said, we can fact check that after this. But yeah, like I said, Mike's been on a tear though, so I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Mara. I'm gonna give it to Mara because I feel like she definitely has proven herself as a rookie in this league, and how cool would it be to have her go up against Jason Inman and become an undisputed Inner Geekdom champion by the time she hits that? Like, that would be cool. Like, that's assuming she beats Mike and beats Jason at the live event. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Mara. Mara's facing Jason Inman at the live event.
Yeah. Also, I want to say one thing about Mara's post match. It was awesome when she's like, I'm 24 gold. Plated gold. Yeah. Like I loved that line.
Yeah, she was having a lot of fun. I think the pain meds were starting to kick in.
Yeah, as she pointed out.
Yeah.
Haven?
I think Mara is a great new competitor. I mean, she proved herself being Rachel Cushing's, but man, I think I hate to say it, but I think Mike will probably win this match because he's just proven himself to like get better in different strengths and different categories each match he plays in. You know, like I said, that mother, you know, he set up this tournament, man. So he probably had months in advance to prepare, doing a lot of studying. You know, with the movies. You know, he probably did a lot of marathons, getting people to help him answer questions. He might pull out the victory, and then I really hope Jason Inman KOs his ass, though. I hope Jason Inman doesn't get one question wrong and just like wipes the floor with him, man, and he has to go back starting from the bottom. So I'm gonna have to give Mike the advantage because he has been, even though Mara is a great, strong competitor, you know, Mike's just been on a roll, and yeah, I think he might sneak one. He might sneak another victory in.
Yeah. Haven Pendergast giving Mike Kalinowski credit. Anybody else feel that chill in the air? I think hell just froze over.
Yeah,
that's hysteria. Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to say it's like Mike said in his post-match interview, he doesn't have weaknesses. He has various degrees of strength. Like, that summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Caleb?
Yeah, I think that Mike, I think it could go either way. I think it could be Mike, it could be Mara. I think I'm going to give the slight edge to Mara because just Mike, he's just been on a roll lately with missing very few questions, just, being very good. I think, in that Emma Fight versus Mara match, Mara was very good. But if you know, she kind of struggled in that first round against Emma Fife. So, I think there's a all right chance that, she's not going to take it. But I think that there's a good chance that Mara could beat Mike. And I think I won't be surprised either way. As far as who do I want to win, I'm not sure because Mara is the best. She's so nice and funny and just hilarious. But I'd be lying if I said I don't want to see the good guy versus the bad guy, Jason Justice Inman versus Mike Kalinowski at the championship. I think that'd be super cool to see. Face versus a heel for the title. That'd be super cool. But it'd be if Mara does face off against Jason Inman, I definitely want her to win because I want her to be the new champion. Because I think it'd be a lot of fun to have her because she's just very funny and a great personality in this league, and probably just as a face persona, that's probably one of the best personas that a face has, and it seems very much natural to her, but it's still somewhat of a persona little, but if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that match a lot.
I can see sorry, I was just going to say I can see the poster now. If Mike does win, and he faces him at the live event, Justice versus Chaos. The winner takes the belt.
Yep.
Yeah. And like I said, I really want Mara to win this thing. I mean, me and Haven, like I said, we had the pros of getting to talk to her. She is such an amazing person. But I run the reaction page. We make these bets on these matches. I got 4 days to sit on this and think about it, but come Thursday, it's going to be hard picking somebody who to bet on. Because much as I want Mara to win, I like that. It's going to be tough to pick on this thing.
That's why I usually don't participate in those unless I know it's a sure thing.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I'm only giving up 1 point. I think I'm going to give it to Kalinowski, but I'm only going to give him 1 point because it could be anybody. It could be Mara, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I'm standing behind James by a decent margin, so I got to find ways to catch up.
Yeah.
All right, in our other match that we got this week, it's the #1 contenders match. Ethan Irwin taking on Mark Andreyko. I like Mark Andreyko. He's a member of the Fife Club. But Ethan Irwin, he's been a monster. I'm going with him to win this match. Caleb, what say you?
Yeah, I think we can all agree that Irwin is the leader in Rookie of the Year contenders right now. He's #1. Mara's definitely coming up, and she could be Rookie of the Year. But I think right now Irwin's in the lead, and if he can beat Andreyko, that puts him 1 step ahead. I think that Andreyko's a solid player, though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, let's not forget he gave us one of the best moments in the Schmoedown ever with that XX5XX. I mean, and one of the greatest matches ever with Bibiani versus Andreyko. So I think, I don't want to underestimate him, but I think Irwin's probably going to take it.
Yeah, and I will say that what you said about Rookie of the Year, as of right now, and this is without these upcoming matches this week, I have Mara ahead of Ethan as Rookie of the Year as of right now.
Yeah, based on that match yesterday or Tuesday, I'd agree with that.
James?
Yeah, here's the thing, and while I do agree, Ethan Irwin has seemingly been unstoppable as far as all of this goes. What I'm going to say, I have to quote the Joker from The Killing Joke. All it takes is one bad day. That's all it takes is one bad day for Ethan Irwin and that record of his and that whole aura that he's got about him to come crashing down. With that said, do I think it's going to happen against Andreyko? Possibly, not likely. I don't know. All I will say is I like to think that the universe has a good sense of humor and a sense of karma. Could you imagine, and again, to me, it would be so epic to see William Bibiani versus Andreyko 2, this time with the title on the line. That, to me, would just be the coolest thing. And especially if you can consider if Andreyko can make that happen, if he can avenge his defeat against Bibiani in their very first match, this time take the title, and then Clark and Rachel take the team titles. I mean, Fight Club rules the roost at that point. So, yeah, I mean, that again, that to me would just be the coolest thing in the world. But as of right now, much like with the Mara and Mike match, it's just a little too close to call for my liking. But by the slimmest of margins, as much as it pains me to say it, I'm also going to give the advantage to Ethan Irwin just because he's got the undefeated record behind him. Now, granted, Andreyko has a little bit more experience, but again, I think that undefeated record might be playing in Andreyko's head just a little bit more than he's letting him on. So I'm going to go with Irwin.
Yeah. Haven?
This one is to be honest, well, I'm gonna pick a favorite of mine. I'm gonna pick Mark Andreyko. I just love his attitude, his demeanor. He's played in high stake matches before. He's been there. To be honest, I'm gonna have to go back and watch these Ethan Irwin matches because I think I might have missed the second one he played in because I keep hearing everybody talking about, oh, he should be rookie of the year, and I'm like, to be honest, I don't know who he beat or. You know,
well, he beat Yolanda Machado his first match. He beat Drew McWeeny in his third match.
And he beat Lon Harris in his second.
His second, Lon Harris was his second.
Yes.
Which that was a great match.
That's a contender for match of the year.
I have to go back and watch his stuff. I mean, I know he's got a lot of hype behind him. Maybe I would be there too but I must have missed something, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch his matches. But I'm going with Mark Andreyko. I think just like what James was saying, it'll be a good full circle. You know, if he wins and he faces Bibiani for the title, you know, part 2, stakes are super high. I think that would be awesome. Ethan Irwin, like I said, I'm not really familiar with him too much. I think maybe in the start of the season I might have missed a couple matches, so I don't really know the hype. I apologize for any fans out there that really like him. And to Ethan Irwin himself, I will go back and watch those matches. But I'm going to have to go with Mark Andreyko. It would be really cool. Like I said, I just think he's, you know, he doesn't really have a character per se, but his presence, the way he carries himself, the way he talks, I think he's a really cool dude and he knows his stuff. I think a lot of people underestimate him. And if he brings his A game and beats Ethan Irwin, that will cement him as a top contender and, you know, and he'll have his title shot. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will say this. Now, when he started out, he didn't really have a character, but with each win and his performance in the free-for-all, he's gotten confident to where I could actually, if he embraces this whole, you know, the character side of things, he could actually be a pretty damn good heel.
Nah, I think he's more face. Mark Andreyko?
No, Ethan Irwin. No, Ethan Irwin.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's got, when he started out, he didn't really have a character, but with each win and his performance in the free for all, he's gotten more confident to where he could actually be a pretty good heel if he wanted to go that route.
Do you think that if, let's say, he wins this #1 contender match, you think we could see any factions trying to recruit him?
I think they've already started.
Well,
I mean,
I
but what faction though? I mean, he's not going to go to the Fight Club. He's not going to join uh,
He could join the Lions
the
Den.
Horsemen. I mean,
No, the
could he
Lions
go
is
with?
broken up.
No,
Yeah,
Remember?
the Lions Den's broken up. I mean, could he join the Knights of Ten? I mean,
Well,
possibly, but
I think
I
the
don't
Viper
know.
Squad.
he could join the Viper Squad. He could join the Knights of Ken, or he could still join Finstock and JT. You know, they need another guy to start building up their faction. He could join any one of those.
Yeah, I mean, the Viper Squad I could see, but I don't know. We'll
Or a
well, I
brand.
mean, we'll
I'm
see.
gonna say, or we could see a brand new faction form around him. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's any number of things that could happen.
Well, here's why I think he could join the Viper Squad. If him and Janine play very well in the free-for-all, let's not forget their manager is Jay Washington.
Yeah,
Could,
that's
not in
true.
the free-for-all, sorry, in the tournament. We could see Erwin joining up with the Viper Squad.
Yeah, that
There's
good
potential
point.
there. Yeah, it's very true.
And also, I'll go back to Mike's post-match interview. How cool was it? Jen Sturger asked him, "Who's Chance Ellison?"
that was a good line. I appreciated that from Jen.
Yeah, and then Mike responds with, "A month ago, people were saying, who's Mara Kanopik?" Which, I mean,
And-
it's true, because people out there, get ready for Chance Ellison. He is going to be a fucking killer.
Damn, dude, you want to jump off his?
Oh, come on. I'm just
Mike is taking credit for Mara, but he didn't bring her in. That was Christian bringing all those new players into the IG. It's not like he was the one recruiting them, you know. So for him to say that, you know, he didn't bring Mara in. She was already in, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that. I mean, Mara. I mean, it took Mara quite a while to
get all that stuff. You know, he didn't bring her in, but that's another dirty tactic from that scoundrel.
All right, well, I think that about covers everything this week. Everybody watching, hope you all enjoyed it.
We still gotta make it. I mean, we kind of made our predictions for Mike versus Mara, but yeah, I mean, obviously that match is going down next Friday. We all know that. And I did double check really quick. Christian did say it will be a 5-round Intergeekdom match between Mara and Mike at the end of that video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know how I missed that. I watched that match 3 times and missed it all 3 times, I guess.
Yeah, it was like right after the post interviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be interesting.
That's actually surprising, because not long ago he was saying that they were going to be held for championship matches.
Yeah, he did. So I guess maybe because of the format, maybe because of the corruption tournament. Yeah, Christian did say that clearly, that they weren't going to do that for number 1 contenders match. But I guess since corruption, maybe they want to do 5 rounds. So hey, it's cool.
Well, I mean, they could always change up 2 of the rounds for just the number 1 contender format. They don't have to stick necessarily to the championship round format for 5 rounds. They can switch things up, go back to some of the older ways they used to do things, or add new wrinkles. So I mean, who knows? We'll see on Friday.
Yeah. And this could have been Thad. This could have came from Thad. Maybe he said, changed it up.
Mm-hmm.
It came from Kalinowski.
I
Yeah,
guess technically Mara versus Mike isn't a number 1 contenders match. It is a finals match, so that I could understand it.
Yeah, it's the finals of the Intergeekdom tournament. So yeah, you could make that.
It's still a number 1. It's number 1 contenders. Finals number 1. Whoever wins is gonna face the champ.
Yeah.
So, it's just like it's just like in wrestling. Everything has different names. You can say 3-way. You can say triple threat. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless anybody else has anything to add, I think that about covers it.
Yep, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Well, I hope everybody out there, hope you all enjoyed this episode. Caleb, I'll go to you first. Where can everybody find you?
Hey, you can find me on my channel, Caleb Boatman. I do Schmoedown reactions there. I was a little behind, and I just uploaded 3 of them yesterday and today. So, yeah, check those out. Yeah, you can usually almost always now find me on Schmoedown All Access. I try to be there here as much as I can. Love being on this show so much. It's so much fun. And you can find me also on this channel on Jack of All Trivia. And I'm glad to say that this Tuesday, I have a match against Christopher C. Dub Woodburn. And I think that's going to be a great match. Be sure to check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
James?
Yeah, you can find me in my YouTube channel, James Schmo. You can find me there doing movie trivia, Schmoedown reactions, death battle reactions, trailer reactions here and there whenever one pops up that catches my interest. You can also find me on my show, Sweating It Out, a bunch of guys just getting together, nerding out over any given topic, any given time. You can also find me here at Jack of All Trivia. I run the Inner Geekdom Leagues here. We will have, tomorrow night, we'll have a triple threat match between two new debuting players, Christopher Day and Chris Dalby, as well as the arsonist Jay Burns. We will also have another match in the King of the Mountain qualifiers coming up later on that evening after that. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow will be the King of the Mountain match, which I know you're very excited about, C-Dub, and I know you'll be competing. So be on the lookout for that. I will be posting rules for the King of the Mountain match sometime middle of the week. Probably not this coming Wednesday, but next Wednesday. I'll be posting the rules in the Facebook group, so keep on the lookout for that. You can also find me competing in the wrestling and the movie leagues here at Jack of All Trivia, and you can find me here at Schmoedown All Access every single Sunday. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Yeah, before we get to that, I do want to say something. This is Haven's own thoughts. This has nothing to do with Jack of All Trivia or the Schmoedown All Access or any other person out there. Anybody watching this, I'm very grateful that you guys come here and watch this show. If you're watching this, you love the Schmoedown and you're in the Facebook page, just can we please just knock off all of the fighting and the bickering, and can we just watch the matches and be positive? Constructive criticism is okay, but some people just need to let it go, man. Like, these people, like, they play for our entertainment, so all the negative stuff, you guys need to cut that shit out, man. Seriously. With that being said, I just want to say, again, condolences to the Harloff family for the loss that they had. I know Christopher touched on that earlier. It fucking sucks losing a family member. So I really hope that they that they're going through this the best way they can. You, of course, you can always find me fighting with Mike Kalinowski on the Facebook page. You can find me on Jack of All Trivia on Facebook. That's how you join us. You could be my friend. We could love to talk to you guys. You can always PM me, private message, and hang out. I love talking and making new friends. So that's where you find me, C-Dub. Thank you.
Yep, and you can find me on YouTube, Christopher Woodburn, Twitter, Chris Woodburn83, Facebook, Christopher Michael Woodburn. We do new episodes of Schmoedown All Access each and every Sunday. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can hit me up anytime. If you do Schmoedown reactions, trailer reactions, come join the MTS Fan Reaction League. We also we've interviewed some Schmoedown greats. Most recently, the amazing Mark Kanopik. You go further back, Ben Bateman, William Bibiani. And like Caleb said, I'm going to be facing him Tuesday night. He's a rising star in this thing, so I know I got my work cut out for me. Hopefully, it's going to be an exciting match. And James, the rules for the King of the Mountain, rules? There are no rules. This is war. So,
well,
like I said,
it's the war that I started. It's a war that I started and I came up with. So if you want to win, if you want to be the IG champion, you better abide by them. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the quote from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when Paul Newman goes, well, if we're going to have a night fight, we better say the rules. And the other guy goes, there are no rules in a knife fight. And then he punches him in the nuts. And then he goes, well, if there are no rules, let's get started. Somebody count 3, 2, 1, go. And he goes, 3, 2, 1, go. And then he stabs him or whatever. Oh, no, it was a gunfight. And he shoots him.
There it is.
Yeah. So for Caleb, for James, for Haven, have a great end of your weekend. I'm C-Dub. Peace.